Everyone, this is Chandan here, and this is the first podcast of the basic OpenFOAM tutorial series in my YouTube channel. And in this video, we will see how to install OpenFOAM, the recent versions of OpenFOAM, in your Windows 10 operating system using the Windows subsystem for Linux. So let us go ahead. In a recent WhatsApp group survey, I wanted to know the response of the audience about at which level of OpenFOAM knowledge they are currently in. And I have got 88 responses till today within 3-4 days. And I have seen that most of the audience who have requested for tutorials, and majority of them are based on India. The student community are still at the beginning stage, and almost 50% of them wanted to get a very easy tutorial on OpenFOAM installation. That motivated me to do this quick tutorial on OpenFOAM installation, and I will do 3 successive videos in the installation series. So this first video will be on Windows subsystem Linux for those who are using Windows 10 operating system, and the second one will be based on the Ubuntu operating system, and the third one will be to show how do we install OpenFOAM in a HPC system or a high performance computing cluster. Basically, as I have already stated in my previous videos, that there are 3 forks to the OpenFOAM library. One is the ESI OpenCFD version, and the recent version is OpenFOAM version 2012. Second one is the foundation version, and the recent version of that fork is OpenFOAM version 8. And the third one is the community driven project Foam Extend, and the recent version is Foam Extend 4.1. Keep in mind that this particular tutorial will be valid for all these 3 forks. So once you are equipped with the Windows subsystem Linux, you can install any of these 3 versions in your Windows operating system. However, in this video, we will be focusing on the ESI OpenCFD version, OpenFOAM version 2012, and I will show you how to install this version in your Windows operating system through Windows subsystem for Linux. So the first step is to download the source code of this particular version, and the dedicated website for the ESI OpenCFD version is www.openfoam.com, and all the necessary details for installation and tutorials, everything is given there if you carefully notice. So let us go to this particular website first, and we can see that there is a tab called download, within which there is a tab called Windows 10 native. So Windows 10 native is for installing this particular OpenFOAM version in Windows 10 through Windows subsystem for Linux. So if we go there, we would see that all the necessary steps for that is given in this particular web page, step by step. I will just go through these steps one by one for the ease of your understanding. So the first step is to enable the option of Windows subsystem for Linux, and there is a dedicated web page from Microsoft on the procedure of enabling this WSL option on Windows 10. So let us go ahead with the steps. It is to be noted that there are 2 ways of enabling this Windows subsystem for Linux option. One is the easiest option in my opinion is to do it through your control panel. So if you go to your control panel, there will be programs options, and within which you will find this programs and features options, and there is an option to turn your Windows feature on or off. Within many options, you will find that there is an option to check the tick box for Windows subsystem for Linux. So if you tick that option, your Windows subsystem for Linux will be activated. The other option is to do it through terminal. So for that, you have to open your PowerShell as administrator and then run this particular link to activate your Windows subsystem for Linux. And I will show you both the options how to do that. Now I'm in Windows 10 operating system. So let us first see the first way of enabling Windows subsystem for Linux through the control panel. So first click on this Windows icon and search for the control panel. When we click the control panel option, we see that there is an option for programs, and within the programs there is an option for programs and features, within which we have the option to turn Windows feature on or off. If we click that option, we will see that there are many features available which can be turned on or off through clicking this tick box, and towards the end we have option for enabling Windows subsystem for Linux, and as you can see that I have already ticked it. So in my operating system, Windows subsystem for Linux is already enabled. I would also suggest you to enable this Windows PowerShell option, which we will use as terminal later. The second option is to enable Windows subsystem for Linux through the PowerShell. For that, you have to first enable PowerShell in your Windows features, and then if I search for Windows PowerShell, I get a terminal which can be used same as the Linux terminal. Then we have to run a command to activate your WSL through this terminal, and for the command we will go as shown previously in the Microsoft link where the command is given, and the same command I will also give in the description of the video so that you can directly copy it and paste into your PowerShell. And we can just copy this command directly in the clipboard and just go and paste in the PowerShell like this. And then if you execute that command, your WSL will be enabled. Next step is to set up your Ubuntu system in the WSL. So for that, we will first download the recent version of Ubuntu from the Microsoft Store. If we go to Microsoft Store, we can search for the recent version of Ubuntu, and you can see that in this Ubuntu option you will be able to see which version it is. So you can see that this Ubuntu version is 20.04.2 LTS, and it requires at least Windows 10 build 16237. This is very important because if your Windows 10 is not updated properly, this particular version of Ubuntu may not work. So before installing or setting up Ubuntu in your WSL, it is important to see what version your Windows 10 is, and is it properly updated or not. So now I will show you how to check your Windows 10 build version. For that, you go to your Windows command prompt. And in the Windows command prompt, you type the command ver or version. Then if you put enter, it will show you the Windows version. So for me, currently it is showing it is version 10 and its build version is 18363, which is greater than the required version of 16237. So I can actually install this Ubuntu 20.04.2 LTS in my computer. And if you go up, you will see a option get here if you are not already installed. So you have to click on the get, and then the option of installing will come up and you have to install accordingly. And the next step is to set up your account and password. But since I have already installed this version in my laptop, it is showing the product is installed. So I can directly launch my Ubuntu from here. And then it will launch a terminal which will show my account name, which is CBOS 1991, and I have also set up my password, which will be needed while doing administrator task using sudo. So to recapitulate, we have installed a Linux distribution from the Microsoft Store. Then we have created our login ID and password, which is quite straightforward. So I am not showing you how to do that. And then there is an optional step which you can do. You can install Windows Terminal from the Microsoft Store. Otherwise, you can directly work with the Ubuntu terminal or Windows command prompt or PowerShell. Okay, so you need one particular terminal to work in the Windows subsystem for Linux. Okay, so the next step is installing OpenFOAM version 2012 from source code. Okay, so these are the basic steps that I will demonstrate to you how to do that. So the first step is download the source code from the website. Okay, and once the source code is downloaded in your local computer as a zip file, you have to copy that compressed source code from Windows partition to the Linux partition. And you have to enter the compressed file in your OPT folder and do the permission change, which is very important. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the installed files. Then you have to install some additional dependencies, and when everything is set up, you have to source the basrc file from the etc folder, which is located in the project directory or the installation folder. And that's it. You are ready to go. Before running your tutorial cases, you have to check your installation. Okay, and I will also show you how to create aliases for different OpenFOAM versions. So let us go ahead and see how to do these steps one by one. So I'm back to the openfoam.com website, and within that download and Windows 10 native, where the installation procedure is given step by step. So the first instruction within install OpenFOAM is click the link OpenFOAM v 2012 Windows 10.tgz to download the source code. So when we click this link, this compressed source code will be stored in your local Windows download folder, which you can easily access. However, to install it in your Linux partition, you have to copy this folder to the WSL. For that, we will use the basic Linux command line interface and use the cp command and copy the folder which is located in the downloads folder of your Windows operating system, and the path is /mnt/c/users and your particular computer name, then downloads and the name of the compressed file OpenFOAM version 2012 Windows 10.tgz, and then space, then dot. That means that you are copying this file from the download folder of your Windows partition to the home folder of your Linux partition. And this, then in your Linux partition home folder, you can see that this compressed file is present. So let us see that. So for that, I am going back to my Windows subsystem Linux and I am currently in the home folder, and let us check the path, which should be the first step, which shows that I am in /home/cbos 1991, which is my home folder. If you are not in your home folder, you can just give cd $home and you will be going to your home folder, and I'm coming to the same place. Now what I have to do is to see whether I have already copied that compressed file to my home folder of WSL or not. To check that, I will give ls and I can see that I have a compressed file which is OpenFOAM version 2012 Windows 10.tgz present here. Okay, so now I have to extract the source code from this compressed file OpenFOAM version 2012 Windows 10.tgz. The command for that is given in the website. The command is sudo tar minus or hyphen xbzdef space and then the name of the compressed file, and then I am copying it to the /opt folder, and then we have to change the necessary permissions by this command sudo chown space hyphen capital R $user and then the folder, that is /opt/OpenFOAM. Okay, so let us do these two commands one by one. So I will just copy this command from here. So this is the command sudo tar minus or hyphen xbzdef space OpenFOAM version 2012 Windows 10.tgz space hyphen capital C space the destination, which is in OPT folder. If I do that, it will ask for the password because I am using sudo. So once I give the password, it will extract this compressed source code to my /opt folder, and it will take some time depending on your computer configurations. Okay, now the extraction has been completed. The next step is to change the necessary permissions of this installation folder so that we can access the executables. For that, the command, as I've already showed, is given in the website. And here is the command sudo chown space hyphen capital R space $user space /opt/OpenFOAM, and if we enter the command, it will again ask for the password. After giving the password, the permission settings will be changed. Now let me see whether this extracted source code is properly located in the /opt folder or not. For that, let us do cd/opt and let us see the content of the opt folder, and we can see that the compressed source code has been extracted to this OpenFOAM folder. And if we go to the OpenFOAM folder, we can see that there is a folder called OpenFOAM version 2012, which is our installation folder and where all the source codes are located. And let us see the content of this installation folder. So we can see that all the necessary folders and source codes are located within this installation folder, and the next step would be to source the basrc file from the etc folder that is located in the installation folder. Okay, so if we go to etc, we can see that there is a basrc file which we have to source to go into the OpenFOAM environment. And how we can check that whether we are in the OpenFOAM environment or not, we can check by the command called foam. If we press foam, we should go to the installation folder of the particular OpenFOAM version, and we can see that we are from etc, we just went to the installation folder OpenFOAM version 2012. Now we will check if the installation of OpenFOAM is properly done or not by the command foam installation test, and that will show us the necessary information and whether we have correctly set up our OpenFOAM installation or not. So by doing that, we can see here that importantly, some of the additional libraries are not installed, which are required for this OpenFOAM installation. Hence, this is an important point which should be resolved. And the second thing is our WM project user directory, which should be located in our home folder, is not set up. So that is also important to set up to complete the installation properly. For that, we will see what additional libraries we need, and that is given in the fifth step, install the additional dependency. So we need to install Bison Flex M4 for OpenFOAM to work properly. So we will install sudo apt install Bison Flex and M4. Sudo apt install Bison Flex M4. Yes, I want to continue. And it will automatically install these additional libraries. and we are done. So the next step is to create our WM project user directory. For that, we'll go to home and create the required folder. So here I have a folder called OpenFOAM already. So I will go within that and see that we have the user directory created for the OpenFOAM 7 version, but for OpenFOAM version 2012 there is no user directory created. So I will create the user directory. Sudo mkdir cbos 1991 version 2012. Okay, we are done, and within that I have to create again a run folder. Sudo mkdir run, which will be recognized by $foam underscore run. So now if I give run, it will directly go to that folder. So it has been recognized by the OpenFOAM environment variables. That is good. So now if I go back to foam, it will go to my installation directory in the OPT folder. If I go to run, it will go to the run user run directory in the home folder. So this is very important to understand. Now there is another important steps to do. So we have to change the permission settings of this run folder also. Otherwise we will not be allowed to create new files or write something in this run folder. For that we will go back one step and change the settings, change the permission settings of this run folder. For that the command is chmod minus or hyphen capital R, and we want to give all the permissions for reading, writing and executing, and the folder is run, and it is showing it is not permitted because I have forgot to use sudo. So we have to do sudo chmod. Doing that, it is done. Now the permission of the run folder has been changed. So let us see whether we can run OpenFOAM or not. So let us now go to the tutorial folder and then copy one case in the user run directory and check whether we can run that tutorial or not. So let us go to cd foam $foam underscore tutorials, or you can also use tut to go to the same folder and then copy one basic tutorial case in the incompressible solvers. So I will copy the cavity folder, cprf cavity to foam run, and I will go to run folder again. I will see that there is cavity folder. I will go within the cavity folder and see the contents. I have 0 constant and system folders. Let us try to run the blockmesh command. And it is running perfectly, and let us now try to execute the solver command, which is icofoam, and it is perfect. So my OpenFOAM installation is properly done and my environment is properly set up. Next I will show you how to create aliases for different version of OpenFOAM installation. So for that, I am currently in my home folder, and we have to modify the system basrc file of this WSL. So in order to do that, let us open the system basrc file by using some text editors such as nano. So you have to do nano space dot basrc, and the system basrc will open. And if I go towards the end of this system basrc, we will see that I have created different aliases to activate different version of OpenFOAM. So you can see that alias command has been used to create a keyword to source the basrc file of different version. So first I have created alias OpenFOAM 7 equal to within single quote source and the path of the corresponding basrc file. And again I have created alias OpenFOAM 2012 equal to within single quote source the path of the basrc file of OpenFOAM version 2012. So this is the way of creating aliases to move from one installation to other, which is very useful if you are playing around with different versions of OpenFOAM. Okay, so to demonstrate that, if I give OF2 2012, my OpenFOAM version 2012 is activated, and we will check that by going to the installation folder. You can see that it is OPT OpenFOAM version 2012. Now if I give OF7, I will move from the OpenFOAM version 2012 to OpenFOAM version 7, and that can be checked by using again the foam command, which will take me to the folder OPT OpenFOAM 7, which is the installation folder of OpenFOAM 7. So that's all for today's video, and I hope that it is useful to you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more tutorials, and you can also connect to me through LinkedIn and Twitter. I hope to post the next part of the installation videos soon. Thank you. Bye.